Inauguration day today, about 9:30 p.m. downtown Santa Ana. Not exactly a hopping metropolis. And how white trash do I look right now, ladies and gentlemen? Steel chainsaw cap and my stupid ass mustache. The 14-year-old me, I gotta tell you, would probably be very mad at the 34-year-old me for the way I look right now. That's the way it goes. I was just at a move-on party, moveon.org, and it wasn't actually what I was hoping, because the way they promoted it, I thought it was going to be like live showing the oath of office, because I seem to remember previous presidents taking the oath of office at night, but Barack took his a lot earlier in the day. So we watched a repeat of it. We paid $15 in a donation. The flyer, I'll show you the flyer. Flyer says free to get in. Technically true, but there was a suggested donation. Very strongly suggested, I might add. And then once they got done showing the video, all the free food was gone. What was up with that? Oh well, I should have taken advantage earlier, I suppose. Talking to a woman there earlier who said she was there in Washington, D.C. when Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. made the I Have a Dream speech. She said, "We didn't know at the time we were making history, we just knew it was something we believed in." And I said to her, "You know we're making history this time, right?" She's like, "Oh yeah." And then she pulls out a bag full of t-shirts that she's made to sell of Obama. So she definitely knew there was history being made and history to be cashed in on. Check out the Santa Ana movie theater, by the way. I don't know how they fit 4 screens inside that building, but such is how it is. I think all the movies are dubbed into Spanish as well. I should go sometime before I leave this joint. You know, it's a significant day today, and I have friends, many of the libertarian persuasion. I'm not singling any one out, because I heard this from a lot of people, who are like, I don't care that he's black. Why is that a big deal? Why do we make a big deal of it? It should be about who's most qualified. And, you know, there's a point to be had there, in that I don't want Cedric the Entertainer to be president of the United States, you know, what I'm saying. And if Carlos Mencia ran for president, I wouldn't think, oh, awesome, a Latino president. I'd think, oh shit, that unfunny fucker who steals jokes is in charge. God damn it. But here's the thing. Obama is a qualified candidate. He's a smart guy. But race was looked on as the one handicap that he couldn't possibly overcome. And people perceived that. And there was all this talk of the Bradley effect, that, okay, he's ahead 5 points in the polls, but you have to actually subtract 5 percentage points because no one's going to tell a pollster that they're racist and they're not going to vote for a black man. Thankfully, that turned out to be absolute bullshit, which really positively impressed me. I didn't think that would be the case. I was wrong. I'm glad to be wrong. I told my dad on election night that I was glad he could live to see this day, because he grew up through segregation and racism. My dad said, well, hell, don't write me off yet. And it's not that I think he's going to die right away. It's that if Obama hadn't done it, a black man wouldn't have tried in years and years and years, because Obama ran the best Democratic presidential campaign of my lifetime, and McCain ran the worst since Bob Dole. So if McCain had still managed to win, and, you know, the margin of victory still wasn't perhaps as great as it should have been. If McCain had managed to win, never mind the fact they'll probably start World War III with Russia, but over Georgia, because, you know, he was basically closely tied to them. But if he had won, no other black person would have tried. They'd be like, I ain't as good as Obama, and Obama couldn't do it, so forget it. So it's great that we have it. And it is an emotional moment for a lot of us. I grew up in Ireland. There were no black people in Ireland. You know, the example of black people I got on my TV was Mr. T on the A-Team, who was awesome, by the way, but probably not representative of the race that would be desired. I don't know, though. I remember also my dad once saying that he was proud that I was the first Thompson to have a black roommate. And I thought, well, yeah, that's exactly why I did that, you know. It wasn't a case of me and my friend pooling our meager resources to get a better place. It was because I wanted to have the first black roommate. No. It struck me as a weird thing to say, but makes you realize that stuff like that wasn't all that normal in our parents' generation. And now we have a huge counterexample. And for right-wingers who are going to say, let's get rid of affirmative action now, well, you can make a better case. It helps your case on that score. I'm not going to deny that. Also, it means that Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton are no longer the designated leaders of black people. Not that anyone designated them that but themselves, really, but now the leader of black people is the leader of all people. And that's pretty good, I think. So it's cool. I'm going to leave you with a cover of a Spanish language free weekly that I just picked up. I don't know if you can see it. There you go. And my awesome Alex Ross t-shirt. Hope you can see that. And happy inauguration, everyone. I'm so glad that the guy in charge actually seems like he could be smarter than me now. It gives me a sense of relief. I'll give President Bush credit for a few things, just so I don't seem like a totally negative hater. First black Secretary of State, first Latino Attorney General, and I actually think he handled the Georgia crisis relatively well. Maintain a military presence without engaging, bring in humanitarian aid, let the Russians know when we're coming in so they won't shoot at us. But I also think he kind of did that because he was on his way out and he didn't want anything to bother him. If it had happened earlier in his career, I would have been terrified. You never wanted Bush to get into something like the Cuban Missile Crisis because we would have been fucked. But now we have a smart guy at the helm. He will disappoint, inevitably. Clinton disappointed. And I think Obama's biggest weakness so far is his tendency to make strong proclamations like, I won't have any lobbyists in my administration. And then a couple weeks later, he's like, well, I won't have any lobbyists working on stuff they directly lobbied for. And then a couple weeks after that, he's like, well, I'm going to make a couple of exceptions to that. This is his most apparent weakness at the moment. I hope he works on it. But even if he only has a couple lobbyists working in corrupt positions, that's still doing better than a lot of past administrations. So, as a liberal, I think he's the most electable liberal we could have had. I tend to be a third-party guy. I've kind of given up on third parties, honestly, not because I don't want them, but I think the American psyche can't handle them. I think we sort of need to have a dichotomy. People who support their favorite sports teams almost prefer to hate the rival sports team. We need an us versus them mentality. It's the way our psyches are, the good guys and the bad guys. And if you throw a third force in there, it confuses people. Although, Masters of the Universe became a much better toy line after they introduced the evil Horde to fuck around with both He-Man and Skeletor. That's all I'm saying. Good drama, folks. Good drama.